This week on WallStreetBets, the emotional spectrum got fully stress-tested. Small wins were treated like failures. Big losses were treated like character development. Some traders sold too early and felt robbed by their own success. Others held too long and got introduced to the concept of consequences. Part 1 of this weekly recap covers 8 stories. Paper hands, naked calls, rage trades, shiny rocks, and enough new car money to make a dealership salesman cry. This story comes from Vrazi23 with a post titled, "Why Am I a Paper-Handed Bitch?" They're a trader who keeps winning and still feels like they're losing. It starts with a familiar scene. Phone in hand, weeklies in the account. Every tick feels personal. They describe making the right play, then bailing out the second the chart breathes the wrong way. Not because the thesis changed, because the green number got slightly less green. They give a recent example. AMD calls, 6 contracts, 205 strike, bought Friday at 4:15, about a $2,000 gamble. Then Jerome Powell news hits and the dread sets in. They're expecting a brutal open. Market opens, and instead of a crater, they take a quick exit for about $300 profit. Safe, responsible, technically a win. Then the next scene arrives. AMD keeps moving. Hits 222. That same call is now about 4 times higher, and the profit they took becomes the thing that hurts. They list other instances too. Micron calls last week, same story. A Trump tariff headline day where they had puts sold for plus 200% and later watched it become something like plus 2,000% if held. The post reads like a highlight reel of correct entries and early exits. They ask the question that always sounds reasonable in the moment. Should they hold longer, or are weeklies just not for them? One commenter put it simply, if it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to sell. From paper hands to something much worse, hands that never had gloves to begin with. Oblivious Speculator is a trader who tried to short a story stock and learned what a steamroller does at highway speed. The opening line says it all. They were picking up pennies, fully convinced Carvana was finally going to rug pull. In their mind, this was the moment the dumpster fire met gravity. But instead, the steamroller showed up with a turbocharger. They post a $37,000 loss, but the tone suggests it's not the whole picture. Because the real horror is what they admit next. They're staring at a negative $150,000 unrealized loss, and they're holding naked calls, not covered calls, not spreads, naked. The kind of position where the chart doesn't just move against you, it starts negotiating custody of your future income. They describe their risk management as a suicide pact with the Greeks. It's written like gallows poetry, but the numbers are real. This is the before photo in the chapter titled, "Don't Bet Against a Short Squeeze, and Don't Do It with Unlimited Exposure." The vibe is resignation, not panic, like the moment after yelling, when the room goes quiet and the bill arrives. "See you behind the Wendy's dumpster," they write. And speaking of losing money with commitment, the next trader decides to quit trading by placing one more trade. Sports 101 is someone trying to fix a bad week by doing exactly what caused it. They open with the kind of line that usually comes right before another bad decision. After switching out of high-conviction trades that would have made $300,000, they rotated into bad trades and dotes that blew up the portfolio. It all happens in about 4 days, which is impressive efficiency. Sports 101 is someone trying to fix a bad week by doing exactly what caused it. There's also collateral damage. A Europe fund is gone. FHSA and TFSA money is gone. The only thing left is the warm, comforting knowledge that taxes will still be owed on margin account gains. Even in the middle of a wipeout, the government still gets the last laugh. Then comes the twist. They're over it. And to prove it, they throw everything remaining into JPM calls. Not a slow rebuild, not a cooling off period, just one more lever pull on the slot machine. They end with a line that sounds like acceptance and threat at the same time. Hope we lose the remaining 50. There's no victory here, just exhaustion and the faint glow of one last position on the screen. The next loss is cleaner, simpler, a classic, buying the top and selling the bottom, funded by something that used to be a car. Sarah Brew 4 is a gambler chasing momentum, who arrived exactly on time to the wrong place. The caption is short and heavy. They were gambling their new car money. Now the car waits another year. The trade itself is the perfect 2-step. Buy SLV calls at the top, sell at the bottom. The damage? $13,000. No elaborate excuse, no macro thesis. Just the purest form of retail timing, where the chart looks safest right before it punishes you. There's a special kind of pain in this one because it's relatable. It's not naked calls with a six-figure hole. It's not a multi-account implosion. It's a clean, contained hit that still changes real-life plans. A year of waiting, purchased at market price. Somewhere in the comments, someone inevitably asks if the car was going to be a Honda Civic or a Lamborghini. But the post doesn't joke much. It's just a receipt. And right after that, in the same shiny metal universe, someone else posts the mirror image. Silver as a lifestyle choice that's actually working. Friends, degenerates, countrymen, no more pretending to understand tech earnings. Instead, they YOLO into silver. Not AI, not EVs, just shiny rock. 5 days ago, they bought SLV calls, also AG calls, because miners apparently decided to wake up and choose violence. Now the portfolio is basically 90% silver derivatives and confidence. The thesis is 3 lines long. Inflation bad, shiny rock good. Geopolitics complicated, but shiny rock simple. The best part is the honesty about process. No fundamentals. If it glitters, buy calls. If it doesn't glitter, it's not understood. They admit they're not selling, not hedging, and don't even know what silver is made out of. But the account balance is up, so the urge to give unsolicited advice has arrived right on schedule. They even pre-write the excuse if it reverses tomorrow. It was a long-term macro play. This is Wall Street Bets professionalism at its finest. Winning is genius, losing is macro. Silver wasn't the only place people went all in. Next up is a long-running saga. One trader with a single YOLO that evolved into a full-time second job. This story highlights Boston Bets, a veteran trader on r.WallStreetBets. Boston Bets is a veteran bag holder turned options apprentice, trying to turn a giant position into an income machine. This story goes back years. One and only YOLO, held through multiple ticker evolutions, eventually landing at RKT. Now they're sitting on 60,000 shares, and they've started selling options against the position, not because it's fun, because unloading 60,000 shares isn't exactly a casual Tuesday. They describe learning options the hard way. DTE Delta Theta taxes. And they get specific about taxes, including Massachusetts millionaire tax surcharge and the federal NIIT. Nothing says Wall Street Bets like finding out you owe extra tax because you accidentally did too well. But the trouble comes from a sudden run-up. Overnight, RKT jumps around 10% after Trump tweets about housing, followed by a $200 billion MBS bombshell after hours. They had covered calls on, and they get caught. They admit they should have closed after the first tweet. Half the day's loss is from rolling covered calls up and out, trying to manage the damage. It's not a wipeout story, but it's a reminder. Even safer strategies can turn into stress when the underlying decides to sprint. They still believe RKT can hit high 20s next year. The tone is calm, instructional, and slightly traumatized. But not everyone is rolling covered calls and discussing tax surcharges. Some traders are simpler. $24,000 in puts, one headline away from either glory or a Wendy's application. Dat one blind sloth is a gambler waiting for tomorrow's headline, like it's earnings season for their entire life. They keep it short. $24,000 in puts. The reason is even shorter. Anger. Specifically, Mango harassing Jerome. It's one of those trades powered less by charts and more by vibes and spite. The timeline is immediate. The puts are for tomorrow's news, not next quarter. Not next month. Tomorrow. The post frames it as a binary. Either they're going to Wendy's for a job application, or it's tendies galore. No middle ground. No gentle drawdown. Just a coin flip with premium attached. It's the purest distillation of the subreddit's weekly rhythm. Find a catalyst, load up, and let the market decide if you eat or you cope. One commenter put it simply, "Bro, you're cooked." And for the final story in part 1, desperation gets even more literal because someone funds their trade by pawning a guitar. Highly regarded play in progress. Front Queasy 3156 is a trader who turned personal property into buying power because conviction should always be liquid. They admit it up front. It's a small amount invested, but done in the most regarded way possible. They pawned their guitar that afternoon to fund the play. The bet is a crypto rally this week. 10 IBIT $55 calls, 8 ETH $25 calls, and as a bonus side quest, there's also a prediction market position that pays another $1,000 if BTC finishes above $97,500 by Friday at 5 p.m. It's multiple bets stacked on the same thesis, tied to a very specific calendar, the kind of setup where every hour feels like a referendum on your life choices. They ask for thoughts, which is always a dangerous question in a place that considers margin a personality trait. No result is posted yet. It's simply in progress, like a live wire on a rainy sidewalk. Part 1 ends here, right before the next wave of wins and self-inflicted injuries rolls in. These first 8 stories delivered the usual mix: early exits that feel like betrayal, late exits that feel like destiny, and a few trades funded by pure emotion and household items. Gains showed up, but so did the bill. Part 2 continues the recap, with more positions, more screenshots, and more proof that timing is easy until it isn't.